My name is Taina Haines. I'm an actor, model, writer, artist, whatever. I do a bit of everything.
How did you get into modelling, acting, writing?
Modeling started when I was really young. A lot of people used to say they should try modeling, and then got put into a modeling competition when I was 15 in Brazil. Then, and then I moved to London when I was 19, got signed, and then started working. Acting-wise, I started doing acting when I was a child. I took acting classes, and I've done my entire life. Acting has always been my passion. So like one thing led to another, and I knew I wanted to do modeling or try at least, but it wasn't something that I was like fully passionate about. But yeah, it definitely helped me to get more into acting, being a model, and then, getting into drama school, getting comfortable in front of cameras, working with people, using my body, my mind, being confident. But yeah, acting has always been my thing, and modeling kind of came along, and now they kind of work together.
Mm-hmm. What have been some of the positives from your modelling acting career that you think of? Some of the
positives.
Good things?
I think for modeling it was definitely feeling comfortable in front of the camera, feeling comfortable with my body, with myself, showing my personality. It's a mix of things that kind of work together as well. With acting, I think, so many things. I discover myself so much since I started. Since I was a child, I was always working my body, trying to express myself in a way, and acting was the way I found it to be able to do it. And when I got into drama school as well, and now doing it professionally, it's just how I speak for myself. Sometimes you don't need the words, so I act.
What would be some of the negatives that people might not realise, the people that aren't models? What are some of the negatives that people don't think about when they think of?
Rejection, 100%. It plays a lot with your mental health. So you have to be really strong, even though, you walk into a casting, you walk into an agency, they know what they want, and it's like going into many castings and getting 100 notes to then one yes, and it makes you think, am I good enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I skinny enough? Am I doing this well? Is this for me? That is definitely, I think, the main point about the modeling industry. But I think there are so many other things I could add, like how we get treated, how we get paid, how we get seen. A lot of people don't see us as, a normal worker. They see us as a robot, as a product that you just go into a job and then you just wear clothes and then just do your job and then leave. So it can be really hard. So it's definitely a negative point as well, I think.
What do you look for in a portfolio when you want to work with a photographer?
I guess their style, their work, also their work, but as in how they introduce their work to the public, because you can be a photographer that does a lot of things, and then it can be a bit confusing to look at so many different images when you just want a certain type of photographer to be working with. So I try and look at their style, what type of photography they do. If I'm looking for a fashion photographer, I usually go with the people I know because we've worked together, I know their work, I like their work. But when I'm trying out with different people, I look at their stuff, see if it's something I would see myself getting involved with, because a lot of the times, great photographers get in touch with me and I truly think they're great, but I don't see myself working with them because of my work, the way I like working, my personality. And, you're creating art. It's like you have to get along with them in a way, in an artistic way. I think I would definitely look at their style and how they present their work. And if it's something that fits into my life and my lifestyle, then yes, I'll definitely work with them.
what would you say are some red flags, or what would you say have been some red flags that you've noticed when working with or initially talking to photographers?
Yeah, sometimes, they send you their mood board, whatever they want to do, and they go straight for nudity, and that's fine. Some photographers just go for that, but then you go and check their work, and then you'll be like, that's not the sort of thing you do. Why are you trying to do that with me? I don't know. You can do that with really professional people, and there is a line that you can cross, I guess it's energy. You just know when someone's not being professional, the way they talk to you, the way they message you. If they're like, oh, would you be down to collaborate with me? I can't pay for your job. I can't pay for your transport, food, whatever. But I can send you the images. That's the least you have to do as a photographer. That's your job. That is very cheeky, I think that's definitely a huge red flag when they just like send you lots of stuff like that and you're like, you're not actually trying to be professional with me. I don't know what your intentions are, but you can clearly see that or when they're trying to be really friendly, but like not in a friendly way, if you know what I mean. Like you can tell when they have other intentions. I'm not here to say any. I don't want to give you examples because there are so many examples, but I think you just know it.
Yeah.
I mean, for the people that are not in the industry yet, it's a bit more difficult because it is by intuition.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm getting at with this question, because I think this is useful for people that have never photographed with a model before and are maybe trying to find someone on Instagram or maybe go through an agency or whatever that might be. And I think if you've never done that and have success, then you won't, maybe people don't quite know how to contact people in a proper way and come across in the right way, and also to make sure photographer has the correct intention, which is to make great photographs and not just to meet someone through an app.
I think for the people that are not in the industry yet or are trying to get into the industry, I would say if you want to collaborate with someone to do a test shoot or something like that, see their work, see if that's something that you'd be interested. If you see yourself, if this is how you want to sell yourself, because at the end of the day, as a model and an actor, you have to sell yourself. It's your body, it's your face. Then try and see if the mood board is something that you'd be happy to do, and then add a few other things that you'd be happy to be doing, and then be straightforward, this is where we're going to shoot, how long we're going to shoot, how many photos you're going to get, the outfits, get as many professional questions you can possibly get and answers, and then make this work out. But if you feel like there are many other things in between, would you actually be down to, I don't know, go for a drink after? Maybe we could go for a drink. Then it's a bit more like, I don't know you, why are you asking me to go for a drink when we're actually trying to work together,
Yeah. Have there ever been situations that have made you uncomfortable when shooting that could have been avoided?
Yeah, job-wise, I think is always really professional, and they're paying for your time, so they use you as much as they can. So it can be a bit uncomfortable, depending on the agreement you've settled with the job, how many looks you're doing, whatever. It can be a bit uncomfortable, the things they ask you to do, but they're paying you, so you just have to see the contract, what's sort of thing you should be doing. With photographers that I collaborated with, yeah, definitely. I think in the beginning of my career, when I started when I was really young, I used to get a lot of photographers getting in touch with me, and I guess I was confident in my skin and what sort of work I'll be looking for with them, but there were a few times where I felt like, maybe with chief photographers, I don't want to say names or anything, but they present you something and then you get there and then they have more ideas, and especially with really young models, they see innocence, you're pure, you're gonna be able to say yes to anything. So you go there and then you're just like happy to work, and then they're like, okay, can you take your top off? And then, okay, what kind of thing are you looking for? Do you think, you ask yourself. And then they show you like, oh, can we do stuff like that? You can cover yourself, we don't have to show anything. And then you're like, okay, I haven't been given any advice, anything before. I haven't been given any information about it, And then you don't really have time to think, do I want to do it? If you had told me in advance, maybe I could have thought, do I want to actually do that in front of you? Maybe I don't. And then I feel like there is a pressure between both of you, because you don't know the person. You don't know if you want to be doing that, And then a lot of people do it because they just feel like, if I don't do it, then I'm not going to get the photos. So it's like, I actually don't want to show my body like that. Why are you going to post it? Even paying me, Well, there have been times where I felt like that. And then I did it, and then I was like, it's fine, I feel fine. But then the person who would keep doing it, like, can you actually take your trousers off now? Can we do like a complete nude shoot now? And then it's changed from something that was completely different, and then boom, it's just turned into a nudity shoot. And sometimes it can be really cool because that's what you're looking for, that's what you want to be doing, you want to be creating some beautiful images. But you do need to know who you're working with, what you're doing, and like have to think before, because that's how they're going to use your photos as well. And a few other times, in special occasions where we're going to this place, and I felt pressured by a photographer as well. I felt like, we're going to this place, we're going to shoot in this place, and then it's like, it hasn't been talked about, like about the weather, about the circumstances, and it was cold, and then like, I haven't been fed, I haven't done anything. It's like a whole day of just collaborating with each other where I'm like, okay, can you stop, like, I'm tired, you're just shooting me wearing lots of layers, I'm like doing this, doing that. And the photographer said, no, but keep doing, you're doing great. Okay, that's gonna keep me going, but like, do you actually care? That's also really uncomfortable, like, especially if they're not paying you and they're not someone that that you're comfortable with. I think models have to be smarter in that way, like, I'm going to do this. I have all these things, these questions in my head, these answers in my head. And let's say if they try and push me to do something that I don't want to do, I'm going to say no. Because it happens a lot, especially when you're young. So try and avoid that, I think.
Mm-hmm. Are there any things that you can think of that photographers have done to make a shooting particularly like special or unique or natural, have made you feel really comfortable, or don't know, are there any things you can think of that would be good tips?
Music helps. Definitely makes the models feel more calm, especially if they're tense, and talking them through it. If they're new faces, if they have never shot with anyone before, sometimes they're honest. They say like, I haven't really done this much before, I don't really know how to pose, can you help me out showing me some photos, some mood boards, or even direct me in a way that we can work this out together, like tell me what kind of thing I should be doing, not doing obviously like I am doing it, but like if I move my face and then you're like, oh no, maybe move to the other side, give that like guidance, but like not in a very pushy way. Mm-hmm. Very friendly, and just like try and see the best side of the model, and make her or him feel comfortable in that way, because I think it really helps, and if it's not working out, then like, okay, no, this is not working out, whatever, let's try and do something completely different, change your hair, your clothes, try and be open to talk about that and create new things, because I think that really helps. And I don't know, I'm speaking for myself, because I find the most creative shoots and comfortable they have been with people that I bonded in that way, you know, like we created beautiful things together because we just found ways that we could fit into each other's work. But yeah.
When I shoot with someone for the first time, I try to make it like a neutral environment, suggest meeting for a coffee or something beforehand. I feel like this is good for putting the model at ease. Is this sort of thing common in your experience? Do you think it's a good way to approach a first shoot with someone?
I don't know. I think it could be seen in a good way. If you're shooting at your place, if you have a studio in your house, then tell them in advance, and then tell them like in a way like, okay, this is where we're gonna be shooting. This is my place. We could have a coffee before so we can talk this through. You can go downstairs, have a sit for a few minutes. I'll show you what I've got in mind. You tell me what you feel, and then we see if we can work this out together, and then we can come to my studio and then we just make this happen. If you do approach people in that way and just tell them your reasons for it, then I think that's totally fine. But you can be seeing it in a weird way sometimes, you know, because I don't know, in my experience, you know, I haven't done that in a long time. So usually I go straight to the studio, and if you want to have coffee, we have a coffee at the studio. And then when I get there, the photographer usually says, okay, we can chill for a bit, we can have a coffee and talk about it here, whatever. And then when you feel more relaxed, we can start doing it. That's totally fine. I feel like that works better, but like I said, if you have a studio in your house and you would rather do that in a cafe, that could definitely work as long as you're honest and don't put that pressure on the model like, oh, he wants to have a coffee with me before. Is that fine?
Sure.
You know, for new faces, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it could scare them. I don't know, maybe just try and be smart about that, you know.
Are you quite comfortable first time shooting with someone to go to where if they have their home studio or something, are you quite happy to do that?
I think you can plan this out and you can keep it open, you know, if you've got a whole bunch of photos you'd like to be kind of creating. It depends, you know, if the weather is good, maybe let's try it outside first. But if the weather doesn't matter, you can start inside, and then after that, if you've been in a studio for a while, then go and enjoy the day, and then shoot outside and be more free. I feel like that flows a bit nicer, but it's always going to depend on the weather. But from my experience, I think if you are shooting outside and then you're like, okay, let's go and grab a coffee and then we go for it, then that's fine because you're going to walk, you're going to go in a location, whatever you're doing. I think that really helps the mother to relax, you know. But in terms of the studio, I think, I don't know, I haven't done it in a while, I don't know, because like I said, I only shoot with the same people, or my agency sets me up with photographers and stuff. And usually when the photographers go through my agency, they're always really professional. I'll go to the studio or whatever the studio is, and then we have a coffee there. And then we just do it. Sometimes we don't even have a coffee. Most of the times we don't. If they're just like, okay, we've got a few hours, let's just do it. Some of them are really focused, like, let's do this, and then we just do it. But yeah, I think it depends on what kind of vibe you're going for.
What are some types of shoots or projects you've never had the chance to do, but you'd like to?
I don't know. I think I really like vintage, like, fashion stuff, like clothes and stuff. I've never really I'd love to be doing something more like lots of huge brands involved, or but like Chanel, Yves Saint Laurent, or something, Dior, something more like, I don't know, like really big, and shoot their old stuff. I think that's really cool. It's a really cool idea. I've seen a few people doing it, and obviously like because everything is super vintage, it's hard to find. Even if the brands get in touch with you, they choose very specifically people, you know, like whoever they want to work with. I've never done that before, and I just like the idea of just doing stuff like that. Yeah. If it's in the modeling side, yeah, and the acting side, there are many other things I'd like to be doing. But yeah, place-wise, locations, I've been to so many places. I don't know, when I was younger, maybe there was a lot of things I'd be like, oh my god, I'd love to be doing this in the beach or at this time of the day or in this country or working with this brand, with this photographer, this makeup artist, whatever. And then you get there and then you do it and then you're like, it feels great. It's just another experience. So like, I don't know, it gets to a point where you just like, you don't really think about it because it's becoming so common, you know. But I think definitely doing the vintage like brand stuff, I think it would be really cool.
Are there any photographers that you've worked with that you'd like to shout out?
I don't know, I think like I said, I have shot with so many photographers in the past. But nowadays I think I have a style of my photography because I shoot as well. I'm not professionally, but I have my cameras and I do my thing whenever I can. And I love film cameras, so like the people I usually like to shoot with now are the people that are my friends because we've become friends in that way, and all of them shoot in film because I just love it. I've shot with photographers that don't do film and that's fine, but I find it much more creative, so
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a weird question because there's probably lots of people. So maybe
I have like all the photographers I usually shoot with now, like they are the photographers that I feel like their images suits me and sells me the way I want to sell myself and themselves as well. So like we show each other, oh, let's do this and then we just create beautiful things, you know, and that might not work with other models, you know, they might be doing a great job for you but not the same for other people. So I don't have like a favorite photographer.
Yeah,
I
that's fine.
think
I was wondering.
I have favorite photographers.
Yeah, I was wondering if there's anyone that stood out. Before we finish,
Okay.
do you have a message for photographers out there, people who are looking to get into shooting with models more regularly?
Okay, yes, photographers, be kind, be creative, be smart, be aware of how, you know, you treat models, because it's a two-way work, you know, like you're working with someone, they're working with you, and communicate, you know, communication is really important, especially in terms of photos, because a lot of photographers don't send photos ever. Don't know if it's because they don't like the work, I don't know, they haven't got what they wanted, or they just, I don't know, some people are selfish. Don't be selfish. Even if you don't like the photos, if you don't want to post them, use them, whatever, communicate, talk about them and be like, I don't have time, can I send you within this period of time, whatever. Just be honest, I think. Be honest, be creative, be kind, and treat people in the same way you'd like to be treated by them. Be kind. Kindness is everything.
Thank you very much.